Hey campers, so today I broke down and I've been doing some research on survival and things like that for my website. If you haven't been there, it's novicesurvivalist.com. Feel free to stop by and check it out. It has some stuff on my trips that I've been on and some general information on my thinking on survival tips. Not the Armageddon survival, but personal survival, because I solo camp so much. Anywho, broke down this morning, couldn't take it. Decided after all this research that I did, I need to update my emergency kits, and didn't want to sit in the house, to be honest. So based on that, what I did was I took my list that I'd gathered on basic survival and came up with 1, 2s, 3s, and Cs. That's what I came up with. That is my list. And I'll get into that more, but what I'm going to do with you first through here is I went to REI. Okay, I admit it, I went to REI. I know it's expensive, but they had the stuff that I was looking for. So I went to REI, I bought some stuff, and you can see in the picture, I bought some stuff. It basically completes my whole emergency idea based on that list that I came up of 1, 2, 3s, and Cs. And what I'm going to do quickly is just go through with you what I bought at REI and why. And then when I'm done with that, I'm going to do a separate video on my 1, 2, 3s, and Cs. And it's a survival thing that I need to be aware of on my own. So hang in there with me. I'll go through my quick shopping spree with you. Anyway, there you go. Enjoy the video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Thanks. Okay campers, here we are. I got all my gizmos that I acquired at REI, and I've got 2 of my emergency packs here. The reason I wanted to do this was like I said, after all the research that I did, I realized I'm lacking in a couple of things, and I need to change the way I'm carrying my emergency stuff. The first thing that got me going on this was, if you watch my video on my last 2-night camp trip on Don Pedro, I noticed my kayak was sitting really low in the water, and I realized I'm taking too much with me, and even the way I packed it and everything, hadn't thought about it, and there were things like waterproofing, that sort of thing I hadn't done enough of. And I thought, if my kayak tips over, I'm going to lose a lot of stuff. Not just lose it, but it's going to be damaged. So it got me thinking, I need to change the way I'm doing things. And then I got into the emergency side to make sure that I actually have everything I need. Well, I didn't. One of the lists I looked at for survival was the 10 Cs. And this was a list put together by Dave Canberry. Pretty well-known guy in the survival side. Probably seen him on TV on some of the survival shows. He has a website, but I'll get that for you. I'll put it in the links below. So if you want to go and have a look, he has hundreds of videos on survival techniques and bushcraft. I found him to be the best. Anyway, a lot of people refer to his 10 C's of survival, and that basically was things like, he had a set list of order of importance of survival tools that everybody should have for a survival situation. And it's a pretty good list. And, I've modified it slightly for my use. I'm not going to be an Armageddon guy. This is just for my personal use when I'm out on my own kayak camping. And I just want to make sure I'm as safe and prepared as I can be. So, from that list, which I'll go over later, I realized I needed to get a couple of things that I didn't have. It's stuff that needed to go into a smaller bag. Using my backpack like that on my kayak wasn't working for me. So I think I'm going to use that as my go bag if I'm at home. The way I've designed it is that everything I have here will actually just go straight into my backpack. I can actually put these bags into my backpack, throw some clothes in, and head out. And I'll have everything I need. So with that in mind, I made some changes. When I go kayak camping, I'm not going to take my backpack. I have a dry bag that I was not using the way I should have, and I changed that, and that's going to be my clothes bag, my electronics bag, that sort of thing. It's not really survival stuff, so I'm keeping that separate. And it's a dry bag, so if I tip over, it's dry. My emergency bag that I'm going to take with me will be the bigger Highlander that I have here. This is still my day pack. This has become my camping pack, whereas before my backpack was. So I've downscaled basically. Anywho, went to REI. You know my feelings on REI. It's a nice store. They're expensive, and didn't think I'd go back there. But after looking at the list, I decided I needed to get some stuff. Looking online, I'm not a great online shopper. I'm kind of a touchy-feely guy. I need to physically have the stuff in front of me to look at it. I don't know about you, but when I get something that I bought online and it's not what I thought it was, I never return the thing. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that do that. Didn't want to get into that situation. I wanted to have the stuff that I had. So, REI stuff. I'm going to get this out of the way. And I'll show you how I'm going to use it. Couple of things. First off, I have my stove, and it's a Peak one, and it's a pretty good little stove, and it's worked for me. It works fine. Got to thinking that if it stops working, I can't cook, because in California I can't build a fire. I'd have to pack up and go home. Didn't want that to happen, so did some reading, research, and got this. It's the MSR Pocket Rocket, and a great name. It's the same thing. It's a one burner stove, and it packs up into a nice little package, and it has very good ratings. It's very light. It's designed for backpacking, and so I decided to get one. Obviously, it's a lot better than the one I have. I'll continue to use the one I have simply because it's working for me. This will be my backup, or when the other one dies, I'll go to this one. Anyway, it comes in this packet, extremely small. It has a nice little plastic case, and you open the case, and out comes the Pocket Rocket. Still not that name. Anywho, there it is, and these open out, and you can set them up, and obviously your canister goes underneath and it sits there. It's basically the same design. One thing I did notice was they said that if it's a little windy, this handles it a lot better than my Peak one. So a nice little extra camp stove, and it has an adjustment, flame adjustment, and things like that. Nice little thing. Really like the idea that it has its own little case that it fits into, apparently, like that. Little cap goes on it. I doubt if it's waterproof because it's just a clip-on cap, but it's a good protector cap, and it's not very big, and I can put it in my, I'm going to actually put it into my emergency bag. I'm not sure about that because I'd have to carry fuel for it, and that's a little big. Even the small canisters are a little big, and I don't know if I can figure out a way to put it into my emergency pack. But when I'm going camping, I normally take 2 or 3 canisters, and I put them in my kayak in a plastic shopping bag, just loose, and just stuff it in there so I have them. I do have one in my kitchen dry bag, so I think I'm going to be okay there. It's really a backup. So first item on the list from REI. The other thing I got was I need to be able to boil water and to have some sort of container to keep it in, drinking out of, that sort of thing. So it can't be plastic, can't be anything like that. It had to be steel, because I've got to be able to boil it, whether it be on a fire in an emergency situation or using my little one-man stove. And it needed to be one piece, compact and fairly light and easy to carry. And I came up with this. It is a hodgepodge of things that they had at REI. The first thing I found, and a lot of people recommended this, was the clean canteen. Stainless steel, nice cap, seals nicely, easy to clean, wide mouth to fill it with water, that sort of thing. So that was the first thing I got. Then I realized I'm going to need a cup or something to pour into, to drink out of, that sort of thing. And I'd seen setups before that had where this actually sits inside a cup. Well, I couldn't really, Clean didn't have one. I didn't want to go out and buy one online because they came with a lot of extra stuff that I'd be paying for that I wasn't going to use, and I just wasn't prepared to throw it away. I've spent enough stuff on this as it is, and I'm finally getting to the end of my journey on making sure I'm safe. But looking around and trying 50 different cups and everything like that and different manufacturers, I came up with this one. It's from GSI, and it's actually called a bottle cup, and it fits right in there. It's not tight, it's a little loose, but that's okay. It sits right in there, and this handle, it has handles to drink out of, so can cheers, cup of tea. So after scrabbling around REI like a homeless person, I found this. Then I thought, well, yeah, how am I going to carry it? And it needs to sit in something, some sort of bag. Once again, out there looking through bags, and came up with this one. It's actually from Sea to Summit. It's just a little dry bag. It's actually Kodura or whatever they call it. And it just so happens to be the right size to put all this in. The little lock on the top. And it has a little thing there, a little clip, and it has this on the bottom. And having looked at it very carefully, I can actually put it onto my day pack, my camping pack, right there, using clips or some sort of thing like that, and it'll sit on there. Perfect. It's actually the perfect size and everything. So I now have my water container for boiling, drinking out of, and that sort of thing. The next thing I needed was water purification. A lot of different ways to do this. One way is to use iodine drops, and that is, everybody says, is by far the best way to make any water safe to drink, which is great. And I actually bought a little bottle for emergencies, but I wanted to be able to carry water. I figured that if I was out there in the middle of nowhere and there was no water, and I came across some water and I'm still moving to my destination, all I'm going to be able to do is just drink the water that I have in that cup, and I'm done, and I move on. I don't have any water to carry with me. I needed some way to do that, and I figured if I could come up with a purification system that allows me to actually carry some water away with me, I'm good. So when scratching around REI, looked at a lot of different things. Get the water, you need to do something with it and boil it, because 99.9% is missing that 0.1. And apparently it's a big one. So I looked around, spoke to the people at REI, and they gave me what they considered what I needed. It needed to be fairly small, be able to pack up, not very heavy, and when I need it, I can get it out. And they told me that the Katadyn be-free water filtration system And that's this little gizmo right here. It's like having a plastic bottle. The filter is inside the cap, and you would fill this with water, put this on. They recommend shaking it up and whatever, and you can drink out of it. Okay. For me, I would boil the water that I've got first using my clean cup, and put the water in here afterwards, then filter it and drink it. That's how I would do it. And then I thought, well, you know, it's nice to have this in my clean cup, but it's not very much water, and if I'm in real trouble and it's going to take me a while to get to where I need to go, I'm going to need more water than that, and there's no guarantee I'll come across any water stagnant or running or anything like that. So I needed to have something else to carry some water that I can fill up. And part of this system, there is an attachment you can get. It's really small, the size of my fist, folds up into a little black bag, comes out, and it's called the Hydropack Seeker 3 liter, and it folds out into a bag. It's got a nice wide mouth on it, and worst comes to worst, I can use some 550 rope, tie it on there, put it across me, and just hang it below me on the other side of my emergency bag that I have with me. So there you go, water filtration and storage carry bags, and all of that fits into a little dry bag. It's an Eagle Creek dry bag. I don't know what size it is. It was fairly inexpensive, and it's from Packet Systems. So it has a little zipper on it, and all that stuff fits in there. And that was basically all my emergency stuff, except for one thing. They recommend a bandana. Dave Canberry said make it bright and light, because if somebody's looking for you from the air, for example, air rescue, you can hold this up and they'll be able to see it a lot better than anything else you have. So it needs to be cotton. He really stipulated it, and one of the reasons is that you can cut a piece off and prep it to be a fire starter. I forget the word for it, but you can put it in a little bag, and it's basically tinder to start a fire using a sparker. So cotton is the best thing. Also cotton, you dip it in water, it keeps you cool. You can use it as shade, put it as a mask if there's fire around or smoke or whatever. You can use this. One thing they do say is, there's a saying in the survival world, 2 is 1, 1 is none. So basically he said that the list that he gives, you need to make sure that you have more than one tool to do the task you need to be able to do. And he said you don't have to have 20 items, you can have 12, because 2 of them do multi-tasks, can do more than one of the tasks you require in your list. So I got 2 bandanas, I have 2 purifications, the iodine and the water filter, and that's basically it. Having worked on that list, I've come up with my new setup for emergency. I'm hoping I'm at the end of my little journey here getting all this stuff, because it's getting expensive, and I think I am. As far as personally what I need for camping and that, I can only think of one item I need, and that is some binoculars. And I don't even think I want binoculars because they're kind of big for a decent pair, and I'm thinking that just a mono will do. And when I'm out there on my own and that, just sitting around walkabout, I like to look around, and using a mono will give me an idea of what I'm looking at, or if I see game or something, a bird or something, I can zoom in on it. There's some other attachments that come with it that I like. So there you are. The other thing I did buy at REI was I bought some accessory straps. This is basically to tie up my sleeping bag and my sleeping mat. I'm using bungee cords right now, and they have the big hooks on them, and I notice they're biting into the stuff, and I'm worried they're going to break stuff in there. So this is just a pull strap. They're pretty good ones, and they were fairly inexpensive, so that's what I got. There you go, the end of my shopping spree. Cost me, like I said, one arm, one eye. But I think it was worth it. Now I'm all set and we're ready to go. So next up we have my TV coming back on because I had it on pause, and we'll go through my emergency kits, the way I have it set up and put everything together so you can look at that. Thanks for watching. New video coming up on the emergency updates, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Always appreciate that. Thanks for watching. See you later.